Hello, welcome to another edition of Prove All Things. I want to thank everyone for joining us. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or on our website, or in the CGI Digital Network app, or on our Roku or Apple TV television channels, we thank you for joining us today. We encourage everyone out there who can to make your comments, and we'll try to share those as the program goes on. I'm joined with co-host Mike James. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, doing well, Jeff. Getting ready for the spring holy days coming up here, and we're gonna have our Passover Lord's Supper service locally here in Pasadena, and it'll be the first time we're having any holy days out here with CGI in a long time. And then we're going to get together with the West Coast Church of God. And that used to be a Grace Community, former worldwide group that has now
Mm-hmm.
become independent. They call themselves the West Coast Church of God. So we're going to
Mm-hmm.
join with them on the first day of unleavened bread and the last day of unleavened bread, and just build those bridges between different Church of God groups. We're going to get together with them on those holy days. What's happening down in Georgia?
Oh, that sounds great. Well, in Georgia, we're preparing for the holidays as well. Between me and my wife, because we are part of two different congregations. My wife is with the Independent Church in Atlanta. She's actually on the board, and I'm the pastor of the CGI Church. We're going to go kind of between both of those churches. So we're going to have Passover at CGI, and the night to be much observed, we're going to go to the Independent, and then first day of unleavened bread at CGI, and then last day at the Independent. So kind of mixing it up, keeping it good for the family,
Yeah.
and I think it's going to work out pretty well. I'm very excited about it,
Hey,
about it
that's
all.
great. That's great. Hey, I wanted to make one announcement. Bronson James spoke to me this week, and he's going to be coming out here to visit our group, CGI group here in Southern California. So that'll be
Oh,
my first guest speaker that we've
wow.
ever had, and that's going to be on May the 14th. So I just want to put it out there. If anybody's in the LA area and they want to see Bronson James speak, on May the 14th, he's going to be there to speak to my local group there. So I just wanted to announce that.
Okay, and they can contact you through your email address.
Yes, yes.
All right, wonderful. And again, if you have any questions or anything out there, definitely put your comments in. I already have one from Skip who says, in other words, the food is better at the independent church. Well, I think both churches are having a catered meal. It's just that we just we had to figure a plan because we wanted to. Cause we never kept Passover together, and so we wanted to be able to do that this year. And so I think this works out to do that. And I got an email from Robert Ansando, who was a guest a few weeks ago, and he was traveling in the United States. He just sent me this picture, so I'd like to share this picture. Maybe you know a little bit more about this picture, Mike. Right here, this is
Okay.
some of the leaders that are
Yeah,
he's getting together in Kenya, and
yeah.
so
So
you can.
definitely that's Robert right in the middle there, and over on the right with the pink shirt, second from the right, that's a fella named Zablon.
Mhm,
And then over on the left, the second from the left is a fella named Benjamin. Now, I
mhm.
know Benjamin and Zablon, I've worked with them. And some of the other fellas, I've heard their names, but I'm not sure who's who. I just know Benjamin, Robert, and Zablon right now, and I'm getting to know who the others are. I sent a note to Robert asking him to give me the names of the other guys so I can start to get to know them a little bit better.
Yeah, but it's good. Good. We got to get a team assembled in Kenya, and I know there's plans of a church in Nairobi and possibly a school for biblical studies, and so there's a lot of good things going to be happening there. So definitely like to see that progress that's going on
Yeah,
in the church.
we're partnering with CEM and Blake Silverstein's outfit there, and we're planning on doing some things in Kenya, and CEM is joining with CGI to bring about some of that. Jeff, we're discussing it. We've got plans for it. Everything hasn't been implemented yet, but we'll definitely be letting everybody know about what's going on in Kenya as we move forward with that.
Yeah, and speaking of partnerships, we do partner with CEM for the Feast of Tabernacles in Hot Springs, Arkansas. That 6 months away, so it's time to really think about making those plans for the feast. And if you go to our website, you can just go there and you can click on the button for Feast of Tabernacles and find out all the sites that we have out there.
Hey, while I have the opportunity, Jeff, you just brought something to mind. Our map candidate in the United Kingdom, Gary Monk, sent me word that they're going to have a feast site in southern England this year.
Wow.
And he said if there's any elders out there, even from other organizations that want to go to the United Kingdom and get together with the CGI folks in southern England, and there may be some others coming from other groups. Please let Gary know if you're a speaker, because he's looking for some speaking help for the Feast of Tabernacles. So folks could send me an email and I will get them in touch with Gary Monks. If you have speaking capabilities in other organizations, please connect with me via my email, and I'll connect you with Gary if you want to travel to England for the feast.
All right, that sounds great. All right, well, I guess we'll get into the heart of our program here, and our guest today, I met at the Winter Family Weekend. Him and his mom were doing a seminar about health foods and health, and I'm a kind of person, I don't go to health food stores. I mean, I do use some different things that I'm told it works and does work for me, but I don't worry about all that stuff. But it was really interesting for someone who never really heard about that to learn all that's available for people out there and in that. So we want to introduce today Jason Pack. How you
Hello,
doing,
hey guys.
Jason?
Hey, Jason. Hey,
Hey,
Jason,
guys.
looks like you're in the back room of your store. Where are you at?
So we actually just recently moved about a month ago. So everything you see here is progress and process of moving to a new spot. So hopefully we can stick around a little longer.
Okay. All right, great. So you're this is a new. Are y'all open now at this new spot, or you're
we've been
ready?
open. We've been open for a little over a month at the new spot. We only closed like 3 days to move.
Okay,
get
great.
over here. But
great.
But thanks for having me, guys. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I think what we're going to get into is something we really haven't talked about on this program before. So we're glad to have you, Jason. And I think Jeff wants to ask you a couple introductory questions here to get things rolling.
All right.
Well, I guess So what's the name of your store that you're at there?
So this is called House of Health. It's just it's a local family-owned business here in Winston-Salem. We actually have two. We have one here in Winston-Salem. We have a smaller one where my parents live, about 45 minutes away in Virginia.
Okay. Wonderful. I guess also, folks who are watching, maybe just introduce yourself. Like, what is your background in the church? Where do you go to church? Those type of things that our watchers, listeners may be interested in.
Well, I mean, I grew up as a Sabbath keeper. I grew up going to Worldwide Church of God, and it was in United Church of God for a long time. And now, currently, I attend a local independent church congregation. We keep the Sabbath and we keep the holy days, and I've done that my whole life, thankfully, and I'll continue to do it the rest of my life. But I found myself down here because of the family business about 5.5 years ago. And so now I've been down here helping my parents, mainly my mom, who runs the store, and I kind of co-run it as a assistant manager. And we're kind of unique. We got a little store. We provide our local community with vitamins, supplements, with a huge amount of dried herbs and spices, and then of course a lot of natural, chemical-free health products, body care products. And the big thing is we work very hard to offer experience, kind of working knowledge of holistic nutrition, but also holistic therapies for free. It's been a passion of mine for a long time. And then of course, really for the last 5.5 years to educate myself to not just improve my health and my well-being, but also to encourage and provide solid evidence-based, research-based natural health for others, because I want people to be healthy. And yeah.
How long has your family had this business?
So this store here was open a little over 16 years ago. Now, House of Health, there is another House of Health owned and run by my cousin in Greensboro, North Carolina, about 45 minutes away. That one has been open since the 70s. My grandparents opened that one. My cousins are older. They worked there growing up, and then later on it was passed down to them. And then as my parents retired and were seeking to do other opportunities, they said, well, and we've always been passionate about health food, and we know a thing or two about it. So they said, well, let's open one up, and we did.
Wonderful. Now, I guess being Sabbath keepers, do y'all close on Saturdays? Because as a business owner who keeps the Sabbath, I wonder, how does that affect business, or is that just what do y'all do with that?
So thankfully, we are blessed to be closed every Saturday.
Yeah.
We have, and our store has been since day one when my parents opened it. So this one and our other one in Virginia, and our employees love it. Actually, it's nice to be off on Saturday. I mean, we have lots of customers who are like, man, why are you not open on the busiest day of the weekend? And we're like, well, we enjoy our Saturdays off. And of course, obviously, sometimes it leads to other conversations, and I get to meet other Sabbath keepers because of it. From all walks, from Jewish to Messianic Jew to many other Sabbath keepers you wouldn't even think about. And so it's kind of neat. But yeah, we're closed every Saturday. And unfortunately, holy days, it's really hard to get off. But thankfully, we have staff to cover to where we can take off and not have to worry about the store. So
wonderful. So I guess as a health owner, health food store owner, I guess we got your background. Now you're married with children. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. I'm married almost 10 years now.
Okay.
Coming up here a couple months, and I got 3 little kids, 7, 5, 2, and then I'll have one coming in September.
Wow. Yeah. That's a lot of work, man.
Yeah. Speaking of, you like jokes?
Yeah.
Yes.
So my 7-year-old gave me a joke the other day, and it fits with the topic. He said, "How do you know carrots are good for your eyes?"
Okay. How?
How?
Well, have you ever seen a rabbit wearing glasses?
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, this is a rabbit time of the year joke too. Yeah.
I love when he came home from school and he said, "I told everybody that joke at school and no one laughed."
I've heard that for years. My mother always used to tell me about eating the carrots for the eyes. And hey, isn't there some truth to that?
There absolutely is truth.
Okay.
Besides rabbits not wearing glasses, I mean, but yeah, there's vitamin A, beta carotene, which is a good antioxidant that does help heal eye damage. And there is some evidence showing that carrots can help with improving night vision as well. When you turn the light off, that timing you have where your eyes adjust. They say eating more carrots can actually cut that time down where your eyes can adjust.
Oh.
So that's interesting. Never heard that before. Yeah, interesting, man.
But I guess if you don't like carrots, you sell something there that gives you the same thing as carrots.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I have an allergy to carrots, unfortunately. The raw carrots, if they get on my skin and stuff, it kind of breaks out. I can eat them cooked, but for some reason I'm allergic to them raw. And so I know when you cook, you probably lose some nutrients. But and I guess as a health food owner, I don't know about Mike. I don't really go to health food stores. I'm just maybe just too lazy or don't get around to it or whatever. So I don't know much about it, but I do know there's a couple of things that I do have taken for years that my oncologist told me to take, and that is turmeric. I guess with pepper in it, like that turmeric that I take every day. My at least my cancer doctor believes, and I could say that it prevents cancer. And I had cancer over 20 years ago. Haven't had cancer since, but I know that
Awesome.
to me, turmeric has been the best supplement as far as my experience goes. And then probiotics that I also take. I guess that you probably sell as well, probiotic solutions that for me, again, it may not work for everybody. For me, have had no stomach issues since I've taken those. And before is like I had a lot of stomach like IBS problems and stuff. So,
wow.
What's IBS, Jeff? What does that stand for?
That's like irritable bowel syndrome or whatever.
Okay, got it.
But again, there's those are the things that I guess for everybody, there's probably different things that work for them or whatever. So at the health food store, what is it most people come in there for? Is there a certain thing, or is it different things for everyone?
Well, there's definitely common things and ailments people have, such as blood pressure and digestive issues and inflammation and arthritis. We get people that come in for a little bit of everything. I mean, I sometimes I feel like I learn more than I teach because people come in, they ask me all kinds of questions, it's all over the place. But yes, I'm a huge fan of turmeric. I recommend turmeric a lot. I take it myself every day. One, because like you said, it's actually one of the most researched herbs out there for helping the body fight cancer. It's also very good for joint inflammation. It helps inhibit inflammation.
Yeah, I had like my foot was all inflamed, and I went to the foot doctor, and he really couldn't do much to it. But I was like, I just take some extra turmeric, and I don't know if that's what did it, but it went away afterwards. But it's been studies to show that actual studies shows that it helps with inflammation and helps prevent cancer. So that's stuff that a lot of people don't know about that's out there.
Well,
yeah, hey.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
No, I wanted to ask a little bit about that because my mother suffers from arthritis here. She's about 85. She lives with me here. And some people had told me about turmeric with arthritis. And a couple questions I have. Can you get turmeric in any foods, or is it just a naturally occurring herb that you have to buy like as a product in a store? How can you get it? And also, why do they think that it works in these areas? Is there information that you have or Jeff has on turmeric specifically as to why it works and how it works and where can you get it? Is it only in a plant or can you get it in food at all?
Okay. No, I'd be happy to answer that. I answer it. I probably I almost talk about that every single day. So turmeric has what's called curcumin or curcuminoids. And these are the active compounds in that turmeric. It's what makes that turmeric bright orange. It's what dyes your fingers yellow when you touch the powder or get it on your skin. So all turmeric has curcumin in there. Now, the debate is, okay, well, what does curcumin do? Is that what I need? And my opinion, I believe curcumin is actually what you want to seek when you're taking turmeric. So you can get turmeric powder, which is what you sprinkle on your food, which I recommend. Do that all the time. Cook with it and everything. That's what the Indians in India do. And
it is very tasty.
It is. It's got a distinct flavor. But in turmeric powder, you don't have very much high amounts of curcumin naturally. So what you can do is you can get a supplement like what we would sell, and there's different types. So you go to Walmart, you go to CVS, you'll buy a turmeric supplement. It'll have mainly turmeric powder, but then it'll have a small amount of curcumin extract in there.
Okay.
So it might have maybe 50 milligrams to 100 milligrams. Well, research shows that to be effective, you want to take about 500 to 1,000 milligrams. So when you take that turmeric supplement from Walmart, you're getting a small amount, and it might help in some cases, but generally it's not enough to really be effective. But so if you buy something from us, a lot of ours are going to be 95% curcumin. Now, that's going to be a lot higher than what you'll see in a lot of places, but that's what you want to do if you want to see if turmeric works for you. So like what I take every day is a 95% curcumin extracted turmeric. And so I get around 500 milligrams either once or twice, depending on how much I take it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I mean, what is it? Is it a plant or what? How do you get turmeric from? What do you get it from?
It's a root.
Okay.
A lot like ginger. A lot of people are probably familiar with ginger. It looks a lot like ginger. It's just
okay.
It's bright yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Grows similar to ginger. I mean, you could actually grow some if you get seeds and grow it in like a greenhouse. You could grow it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I definitely know what ginger looks like. My mother-in-law, who also lives here, does a lot of cooking with ginger, so I know what that looks like. Yeah, so interesting. Now, you just get it in supplement form, in bottles or whatever, in tablet form. There's no naturally occurring turmeric or what's that other word you use?
Curcumin.
Yeah, curcumin. You can't find that in any foods or anything, right?
Not that I know of. That's kind of a unique compound to turmeric. Now, some other herbs, some might have it. I don't know offhand. So
yeah. Well, one thing I do want to mention for our viewers, because we're talking about prove all things. None of us are doctors, so nothing that we say should be construed as any type of medical advice.
No,
that we're just talking about experiences and personal things and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'll personally say I'm definitely not a doctor. I do not try to act like a doctor. I do not prescribe, treat. I just offer advice on nutrition because that's what I'm passionate about.
Right.
And do your own research, please, because my body is different than your body. So
right. Yeah. So, is there any background information you guys have on how folks realize that this particular herb might be doing some positive things for the body? Like, how far back does this go? Thousands of years? I mean,
in my mind, all these things and these supplements and things you see in advertisements you see on the internet, they're all reinventing the wheel. I mean, these herbs have been around for thousands and thousands of years. I mean, and I believe it even goes back to I believe it started in biblical times, where God said every green thing is good for you to eat. I mean, I don't think he's just talking about fruit trees and vegetables. I think he's talking about herbs and plants, and what they can do and how he made them.
Yeah, I definitely have heard of garlic and onions and things like that they actually can clean out the system inside. And I got to tell you, when I've eaten garlic, I feel like something has happened inside me,
Yeah.
So that's just my personal experience, Yeah. I definitely can vouch for that.
Yeah. Well, I know from because again, I had cancer back in 2003. And so my oncologist, he is from India, and so this is what he told me. And he did a lot of research in different universities and stuff. But he says that, and again, I don't know what studies he's referring to, but he did say that that cancer is lower in India, a lot lower, because and he believes it's because of turmeric in India. So where we have a lot of cancer in our country, we don't have that particular spice in our diet. You go somewhere where they have that particular spice in the diet, and you see a lot less cancer. And so that was his big thing is like, take this. This is like what I prescribe all my patients.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's actually honestly why I take it every day. I also had cancer myself 3 years ago. And fortunately I had to have some surgery done, but thankfully through diet and nutrition, I was able to get my numbers and a lot of my blood test results I was able to change those and affect those within 2 to 3 weeks, changing my diet from fasting and using supplements. And thankfully I was able to work, with a traditional doctor and an oncologist, but I was also working with other holistic, more naturopathic doctors, and getting advice from both and listening to both.
Hey, here's a question. Here's a question I have, if I could bring it up from the people watching. So this comes from JJ, I guess. So what is the most misrepresented supplement you see?
Ooh.
Is there something that people say this is great, and you're like, I don't think it's what they say it is? Or whatever?
My first answer would be something I don't want to talk about. It'd have to do with men's health.
Okay. So those things about men's health and stuff doesn't work.
Well, they. I'll try not to get into that today, but let me just say that those are definitely most misrepresentative.
Right.
Absolutely,
Okay.
especially online products.
Yeah.
I would say, man, so many things. That's a part of the problem why a lot of people don't believe in and utilize herbs as much as they should, is because of misrepresentation.
Mhm.
Man,
let me
that's a tough
throw
one.
one at you. Let me
Yeah.
throw one at you as you're thinking about it. So, a lot has been written about vitamin C, and I've heard of vitamin C all my life.
Okay.
Is vitamin C, I know, it was used for scurvy and things like that, and it does have qualities that can help, but it's not a cure-all, right? I mean, it's just something that naturally occurs that we need to have some of, but I mean, it's not going to stop the common cold, and, zinc is not going to stop you from getting sick. It might help you when you are sick. Can you talk a little bit about zinc and vitamin C?
And that's why it's tough, because I feel like literally every supplement out there is misrepresented.
Okay.
And that's where I try to do my best to bring in evidence-based, research-based, and I myself, I take lots of supplements and vitamins, but I try to eat right. That's the main goal. You are what you eat.
Yeah, I always heard it's better to get your vitamins from your food than to take supplements.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's a big problem now, because the food we eat nowadays is not the same food that our ancestors ate. With a lot of the technology is great. We're able to do a lot of great things, but it is affecting the nourishment of that food. But no, back to vitamin C. So it is wonderful, I will say that. But yes, it is definitely misrepresented in a lot of ways. I'm going to tell you to eat a citrus fruit, or I'm going to tell you to eat a red bell pepper, which are high in vitamin C, and I would tell you to eat that every meal, because not only is it going to give you vitamin C, it's also going to help you absorb things like iron and other nutrients in your body a lot better than a supplement would. But because of time and commitment, I mean, a lot of people don't do that, or they don't have the ability, or they're allergic to things. So a vitamin C supplement would be helpful. I do take vitamin C regularly, but I like to do what I would consider closer to what a natural food source would be. So that would be a vitamin C with what's called bioflavonoids, which help you absorb that vitamin C.
So let me ask you, if you ate an orange a day, are you getting the recommended daily amount of vitamin C if you ate a whole orange a day? Would that suffice, or we need more vitamin C?
Well, I mean, the body is amazing. So it depends on the person and what your body can handle.
Okay.
Would it be enough? Yeah, you could survive on that.
You wouldn't get scurvy, I guess. You wouldn't
get scurvy, but would it promote optimal health? I would say no.
Okay.
The main reason is because your body every couple hours, whatever, it's different for different people, but every 2 to 3 hours or roundabout, your body is using what vitamin C it has. If there's none there, well, then it uses what it has, and then you eat more when it continually uses that vitamin C, because it's water soluble. So you use what you have. If you have excess, you pee it out, and so you can. So I would suggest, eat an orange, but try to eat one with every meal. Or eat something with vitamin C multiple times a day.
Fruits and vegetables.
Yep. So.
Gotcha. Now what about, I hear a lot about zinc. We've heard a lot about that over the last 2 years, because of the virus and everything. But what are your thoughts on zinc as a supplement? And where do you know where we get zinc in foods? Like, what foods are high in zinc?
So one of your highest is going to be pumpkin seeds, raw pumpkin seeds.
Wow.
Great. Yep. Loaded with zinc, loaded with lots of good healthy fats. They're good for the bladder. They're good for the prostate.
Is that something that y'all that's sold in health food stores?
Yeah. You typically can buy pumpkin seeds. So yeah, we have the other source is going to be nuts and seeds are going to be your best source of zinc, and also a lot of other healthy minerals. So
yeah. Oh well, one thing I remember from your presentation that was at the Winter Family Weekend, and this is something because my doctor prescribed me after a blood test. This was like a couple years ago. Vitamin D. He said, the blood test shows you're low in vitamin D, and I know you can get vitamin D by getting out in the sun, but look at me, I don't get in the sun much, and I try to, but I burn a lot. But I think there's a difference. There's a different kind of vitamin Ds you can get to help you supplement, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. And then finish real quick on the zinc, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead.
So zinc I do think it is recommended, and I think it's helpful, especially with people that have low immune systems. And what zinc does is once it gets into the cells, now it's arguable how it gets into the cells. You have to do certain things to get it in the cells. But once zinc gets in the cells, it stops and helps stop viral replication. So it helps protect that cell from turning into another virus cell.
Oh, okay. I got it now. That makes a lot of sense with a lot of the things I've been hearing over the last couple of years with zinc. Yeah.
But you can take zinc is one of those things you can take too much of. So I do recommend, number one, eat it with food, or take it with food, and then don't take too much. Consider, because a lot of times they're in multivitamins, they're in immune products. So if you're taking multiple supplements, a lot of times you're taking more zinc than you need. Probably.
Okay.
When you say that, Jason, you hear about, taking more or you got to be careful with things. Are some of these supplements, let's say you get some of it in food and then you take supplements of zinc or whatever it is, and you get more than you need. What happens? Is that detrimental to the body, or do you just perspire it out, pee it out? How does the body handle that excess vitamins?
Well, thankfully God made our bodies amazing. So most of the time I would say, as long as you're not taking them, 6 months to a year and just all the time, I would say it's not that big an issue. Because a lot of times the body does process that and get rid of those. So let's, for instance, B vitamins. A lot of times people know about B12 and a lot of other B vitamins. Your body gets what it needs and then it pees it out. So now you can then argue, okay, well, I'm getting more than I need. What else is that doing? Well, it could always cause other issues or affect other minerals and other balances. But I would say and argue that it's a lot better to have enough B12 in the body and maybe excess than to have not enough, because you can definitely get lots of serious issues and health issues from deficiencies. And that's actually where a lot of health issues and conditions come from, is people aren't getting proper nutrition. Now to jump into the vitamin D. So vitamin D is a different way. It's what's called fat soluble, not water soluble. And because it's fat soluble, vitamin D stores up in the fat. Because think about this: when you go outside in the sun, your body is making vitamin D as it's absorbing that sunlight. Well, it might not be till 3 days later before you're outside again. So God made our bodies to where it stores that vitamin D and uses it what it needs, and then hopefully we get outside again at some point to load up that vitamin D. So
is that why in some supplements you can just take like a mega dose of vitamin D like once a week instead of taking it every day?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why sometimes, depending on where your levels are, they might say, take it every other day, or they might say, take it once a week. So you can get your vitamin D up level high, and it will stay up there and then slowly drop and drop and drop.
Hey guys, I think June has a good comment up on the screen there about this, the idea of, should I take vitamins? Should I not take vitamins? Am I eating healthy enough? Am I not eating healthy enough? Not knowing exactly, because bodies are different, how much of whatever you need. I guess, Jason, how would you answer that question? Like when you talk about a diet, I guess they say 2,000 calories a day, the average adult diet. Say you're eating oatmeal in the morning, a piece of fruit maybe a turkey sandwich at lunch with some tomato and lettuce on it, a salad, and a little bit of fish at night with some rice. Is that a good daily diet there? Or give us some ideas about what you think a good, healthy diet would look like during a week, or, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or what do you think 3 meals is good, or should we eat 2, or give us some thoughts about diet? Yeah.
Well, so
I'm sorry, that's a big question.
It is a big question. But that's actually what I like to get into is nutrition. So the first thing I would say is diet wise. So instead of focusing on 3 meals, 2 meals, 1 meal, whatever you want to do, I think it's more important to focus on, okay, what diet is effective for you? What diet fits your style, your way of life, and eat that diet. Now, obviously, if you don't have time to make a meal in the morning, well, it might be better for you to have 2 meals. And I know many people that do 2 meals a day and are healthier than people that do 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Mm-hmm. So I'm more focused on, okay, what are the right foods to eat? Okay. Because ultimately you could do intermittent fasting where you're only eating once a day and be plenty healthy. And a lot of research shows that. But
yeah, I've been reading about some of that. We'll get into that if we got time, but we'll bring you back. There's so much here, but continue. Yeah. I'm sorry.
So what I have researched and found out is the healthiest diet. You have what's called blue zones all around the world where people are living to be 120 years old, and they've done evidence saying what are these different zones of these people eating, and what they're finding is they mainly eat whole food plant-based diets. Mm-hmm. And what that means is whole food. In other words, I'm going to eat an orange, not orange juice or orange candy, of course, which is horrible. But that's whole food. I'm going to eat the food, the whatever it might be. That's how it grows, where it comes from. I'm going to eat it as is. That's whole food. And then you have plant-based, which is eat more fruits and vegetables. It doesn't mean you can't eat meat. No, not at all. I eat meat myself regularly. I eat all types of meat. That's good for my body, but I eat good quality. But my main focus is I'm going to eat fruits and vegetables. So whenever if I eat 3 meals a day or 2 meals a day, well, I'm going to load up on that. Now, as far as some other things, I would tell people, look, carbs and sugars are bad for the body. All sugar feeds inflammation in every part of our body. So don't eat sugar in the morning. Don't eat sugar at night if you have blood sugar problems. Eat it during the day while you're up and about, and your metabolism will burn those carbs off.
Let me ask you something about sugar, because I hear that sugar feeds cancer cells. That cancer cells need that to go, and et cetera, et cetera. But let's say someone is doing excess exercise where they're either a bodybuilder or a power lifter, or they're really taxing their body on a regular basis. Should they have a little extra sugar in the diet for those energy needs? And I get where you're going with sugar. I totally get that it's dangerous to have too much sugar, but we do need some sugar, right? I mean,
oh, absolutely.
Okay, got it.
Absolutely, no.
And the natural sugars would be better. Like I like a Coke once a week, but I make sure I only have it once a week. Is it okay to have that little cheat meal once a week?
I mean, I'm going to tell you, I live life. I eat what I want to eat. And I tell other people, eat what you want to eat. But if you have health issues, well, you need to change the diet.
Oh yeah.
I mean, obviously, but sugar. Of course, we need sugar. I mean, that's one of the main resources for our cells to make energy. We need sugar. You can also use fats to make energy. That's what the ketogenic diet is all about. It's changing the body from using sugar and running on carbs to running on fat, and that's why a lot of times people lose weight. But
is that like a protein based eating a lot of meat instead of
it's protein, but it's also very focused on eating fats. So eating avocados, eating nuts and seeds. So your body has lots of fat to then burn and use to make energy.
The good fat, the natural fat.
The good fat. Okay. But as far as sugars, there's different types of sugars. So when you talk about Coca-Cola, you're talking mainly high fructose corn syrup, which is a heavily processed sugar. I'm going to tell you, well, eat sugar, but eat a better sugar. Pick up a date, pick up a fig, which are high in sugar, but it's a lot better for your body to break down, and it breaks down slower. So it doesn't flood the blood with sugar and overwhelm the cells.
Yeah, you mentioned something. You mentioned something about the other countries and how they have better diets. I because when I visit other countries, I'm like, these people are so skinny and small, and they because they eat like all this healthy food, and America is just so full of people who are obese and unhealthy. It's probably the worst country in the world, I guess, as far as I can tell. I know Mexico, I think, has really a lot of obesity as well. You think it's because of just all the processed and foods and the fast foods and
yes, I do think that.
Yeah.
As Americans in general, we eat way more carbs than any other country, and not just that, but a lot of people don't realize. So carbs come from what? What's probably your main source of carbs?
Wheat.
Bread.
Yeah.
We eat a lot of bread, pasta as well.
Corn.
Yep, corn. But I'm focused on bread. So bread in our country, most of the wheat we eat is genetically modified. Which you can. Now I won't go into that, but what I will go into is genetically modified in that it changes how that wheat reacts with our body. So when you wheat, God made wheat to where it's grown in the field, natural organic wheat. It has yeast on that wheat. So you can pick that yeast and make a loaf of bread with it, and it will naturally already have yeast in it. Now, traditionally, they would pass down yeast. You ever heard of like friendship bread, where people, they make bread with the yeast and then they pass it on. You keep passing it on.
Yes.
So that's using natural yeast. Well, with the genetically modified wheat we eat, they have to use synthetic yeast to make bread. Well, synthetic yeast feeds on sugar in the wheat. If you use natural yeast, it feeds on gluten. So a lot of these gluten issues we have and digestive issues we have with bread that cause inflammation, that cause immune issues, a lot of times it can be traced back to just the fact that because we're using synthetic yeast and we're using genetically modified wheat, we have higher amounts of gluten, thus causing more digestive issues.
Interesting. And hey, I got a question about that. I'll buy whole wheat bread at the supermarket. And what I've noticed is now there's whole wheat with no corn syrup in it. Okay. Yeah. So they're kind of promoting, hey, we don't have corn. So that's the one I'm buying. But it seems like so many different products had added corn syrup in that. I mean, even tomato paste, I was looking at it one day, had corn syrup, and I was finding corn syrup in almost everything. But now I'm beginning to see that many of these products are saying no corn syrup, and I'm definitely making that choice. Is that a good choice to make?
I would say yes. I would say, go with the no high fructose corn syrup, because you're getting one step closer to less processed. Because high fructose corn syrup is the most processed sweetener you can basically get. That you got cane sugar, which is a step up and more natural and less processed. But ultimately, I would keep working up to where you have bread that does not have sugar in it. Or bread that's not made from processed wheat, bread that's made from whole grains or sprouted grains, where you get more nutrition, more vitamins, more minerals naturally in that bread. And it's going to cause less digestive issues. It's going to cause less immune issues overall.
So this is something like a product called Ezekiel bread I've heard of.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. And I'll tell you what, when my brother got me interested in that, when I eat that, I feel like I'm eating a meal. You know what I'm saying?
I know. Yeah, because
why is that?
Well, I would say, honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
My opinion would be that because you're getting so much more nourishment and because you're getting more amounts of fiber in that bread and the seeds that are in there, it's actually making you full because fiber swells in the belly and fills you up, which is a good thing because then your body knows, hey, I ate too much. Let me take a break.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Interesting.
There's that old saying, you are what you eat.
Yes.
And I think most Americans would be corn chips because of because of how much. We eat. I think it's corn and then soy are the top two things that people eat in our country.
Yeah,
and this,
it's true.
Wow.
There's a documentary called King Corn where these college guys actually trace that. Have you seen that?
I saw that documentary. Yes. Yeah, it's an interesting documentary.
But can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
So do you believe in miracles?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
All right. So I want to add one thing that I want to kind of talk about today real quick. So our bodies are miracles.
Okay.
Literally miracles. It's a miracle that I woke up. It's a miracle that I'm here today. It's a miracle that my body is doing everything that it's doing while I'm talking to you guys. It's amazing. We don't think about it. And I wanted to say that today to make sure, you guys and anybody else listening remembers that God made our bodies, and our bodies are so amazing that they are literally walking miracles.
Definitely. I've learned so much about cells and what's going on in a cell, over the last few years. It blows my mind. But please continue on that. Yeah.
So, just to give you an idea, if you guys want to get encouraged, get out there later on the day and search, what did I search? Miraculous things about the body and read some of those things. So this one's from a website called allprodad.com. I just searched for it before I prepared. It says your heart works its heart out for you. The human heart creates enough pressure to squirt blood 30 feet.
Wow.
Such pressure is needed to pump blood through 60,000 miles of veins and capillaries.
Wow.
Now that just blows my mind.
It's amazing.
It is
that much veins are in you.
Yeah. And your heart pumps 6 quarts of blood circulating 3 times every minute.
Wow.
So 6 quarts of blood is it's circulating that 3 times every minute.
And it doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop. It's going on right now. In one day, your blood travels a total of 12,000 miles.
Wow.
So
that's hard to believe, man.
Yeah. I mean, when you speak of a miracle and you think of the heart, it just amazes me that heart just keeps beating, for whatever years we're given. It never quits. It just keeps going. I mean, it quits on some folks. It will eventually. Yeah. But for the most part, it just keeps going and keeps going. And that is a miracle.
That is
so well designed.
When you think of that blows your mind. I'm glad you brought that up because there are so many things in the body just like that one example that you gave, man.
Absolutely, all over.
To believe that it wasn't created just is unfathomable,
But so my question then would be, okay, well, now you know what the heart does and the miracle we have, and we know that God gave us a responsibility to take care of our bodies. What can we do? Well, I would encourage everybody to research, okay, how do I get that heart happier and healthier? What diet do I eat to improve that heart health? What supplements would I need if I'm lacking something or needing something? So
when you talk about the heart then, any suggestions on, other than exercise, let's just keep it with nutrition today. We'll get to other things in the future, but just talking about the heart because it is so important. What suggestions do you have around heart health with diet or nutrition?
Well, you see, heart disease is one of the top killers in our country and in the world, especially in our country. And we had a question earlier about the person asking what herbs to take. We got to remember at the end of the day, traditional medicine actually came from herbal medicine. What they did is they took herbs, found out, oh, this herb does this, this compound in this herb does this. Well, hey, let's see if I can make that synthetically in a lab. But now traditional medicine usually is used to treat health issues. I'm more focused on, okay, how do I prevent health issues? And the big thing you want to focus on, okay, is we have all these veins, all these arteries in our body. We have to remember they are flexible. They're living. They expand, they collapse based on, as that blood moving, what it needs to happen. We get a big chunk in there, or plaque or whatever. It's got to expand. It's got to contract. So we have to improve that artery and that vein health. And how do we do that? Well, the best way, diet, is going to be eating greens, eating dark fruits and vegetables. Those are wonderful for the heart. Berries are great for the heart. Your spinach and kale and broccoli, those are all good. But, if it's hard to eat that way, you're allergic to things and you don't have time, well, take antioxidant supplements. Do things like grapeseed extract or resveratrol, which is extract from red wine and grapes, or do a wonderful herb called hawthorn berry. Hawthorn berry is actually prescribed in a lot of places in Europe because it's so good for strengthening the heart. So if you have, you have blood pressure, maybe your blood pressure is a little elevated, take something like hawthorn to help, or something like olive leaf, which is another herb that's good for the heart. You can do those and take it in safe amount. You can really improve heart function.
Well, what is that? I'm told that my good cholesterol is low usually when I have a blood test. Everything else in my blood's good, but it's like you got a little. What is there? I don't quite understand how. Is there something to eat to get good cholesterol as opposed to bad cholesterol?
Yes. Yeah.
Or,
so
what would you recommend as a health food store guy?
So remember, cholesterol. What is cholesterol really in the body? Well, it mainly consists of fat. The fat deposits. Well, what happens is the body produces cholesterol to strengthen those blood vessels and those arteries and those veins. So it's actually a good thing. We need it to so we don't have ruptures and things in the blood vessels. But if it's fat, well, then we say, okay, well, I have good fat that's low. Well, how do I improve that? I eat good fats. So I eat more nuts, eat more seeds, eat more things like avocados are a really good source of fats. Maybe eat a little bit of good virgin organic coconut oil. Maybe do a little bit of good extra virgin olive oil. So add more good fats in the diet.
Okay, very good, very good. And then how about when you talk about oils again? I hear vegetable oil is a no, olive oil yes, coconut oil yes. Well, how do you feel about oils and things like that?
Well, so it really comes down to what's the quality of the oil. Most of the oils we use in processed food are going to be things like canola and safflower and sunflower, which arguably are not harmful. Depends on how you look at it, but there is no nourishment. And then you throw in, okay, maybe there is some toxicity issues or bad side effects can happen from those oils because of all the processing they do. And this synthesizations, that like the lab made options they do. So you have something that's not nourishing that could be bad for your health. Well, why put that in your body when you have other options? So yeah, you do have other options, and that's going to be good olive oil, so extra virgin olive oil. That's as close as what it naturally is when it comes from that olive.
Let me ask you a question about though. I see different types of olive oil. Yeah. So the extra virgin is better than the other when it just says virgin olive oil or something. Extra virgin. I mean, that's closer to what you want.
Okay. It's a lot of that's you got to be careful, but just go with a good quality virgin olive oil. And research is even showing that butter, because of the high fats, good grass-fed butter is going to be better a lot of ways than oil. I mean, obviously.
So that's another one, Jason. I butter. Okay, I'm hearing that years ago they were saying eat the margarine instead of the butter. Now they're saying eat the butter instead of the margarine. So let's say you got Country Crock or regular butter. Which one are you going to buy?
Oh, well, I'm going to buy the real butter. I'm going to buy the real thing.
All right.
Because I mean, nothing against technology and things we have. They're great, but I don't believe I was made synthetically. So I'm gonna avoid putting synthetic things in my body.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Very good. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there anything else about the body you wanted to mention today, Jason? You talked about the heart, the miracle, the vein system, and the muscle of the heart. Anything else you want to hit us with today?
So one really important thing I talked to many people about, I learned personally myself. I think I mentioned earlier, I talked to you guys earlier about how I had cancer 3 years ago.
Yeah, if you don't mind me asking,
Yeah.
what type of cancer was it?
I had testicular cancer.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh.
I've known a few guys that had that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And through my journey and my I call my testimony is in my walk, I learned lots of things about my body I had no idea. I exercise, I try to eat right, I try to do good things, but as you find out, cancer affects healthy and unhealthy. It doesn't diversify. It goes after whatever it wants to. And you can trace a lot of ways. Anyway, my point is, as I walked through that journey, I found a lot of things about my body because I didn't just listen to what traditional medicine and the doctors were saying. I said, okay, well, I want to take responsibility for my own health. And that's what I encourage everybody to do is, look, don't wait for the doctor to tell you something's going wrong. Check on your body, find out, hey, what's going on? And one way to do that, and I check my hormone levels. I find out where my hormone levels are, because when I had cancer, I found out my estrogen was sky high. And I found out my body is different than most people. Most of the time, high estrogen, low testosterone. Well, mine had high testosterone, high estrogen, almost like a bodybuilder, where they have excess testosterone that converts into estrogen. And once I found that out, well, there's lots of evidence showing high estrogen causes cancer.
Interesting.
Now,
how do you check your like when you say check your hormones? I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah. That's what I'm going to ask. How do you do that?
So you can, of course, go to the doctor. Which I'm going to recommend you do that. Obviously, if you don't have any experience, but also I'm going to encourage you to take responsibility. Hey, there's a website called walkinlabs.com where you can literally sign up, fill out, what tests you want to do, pay for the tests. And then you'll set up an appointment, whether you're going to go to Quest Labs or LabCorp.
Okay.
And those are in pretty much every main city all over the U.S. You go in on your appointment, they draw your blood, and then within a week they'll send you blood tests in the mail or in an email.
Okay. Could you get your regular, like say you get a physical once a year, could you ask your doctor, hey, there's this extra test I want to take? What would you call that test? Because I know they give me a lot of, they show me a lot of things like LDL, HDL, this, that, and the other thing. What is this called?
I personally, now I do a lot of my own research and study, but I personally get a physical myself every year. I literally go and pay about $800, but I get my cholesterol, I get my prostate level, I get my hormone levels, I get basically a whole body kind of record and see, okay, where is my body running? Hey, am I low in this vitamin? Or am I low in this mineral? Oh, well, maybe I need to take some of that. Now, of course, I'm going to encourage you to go to a doctor and work with them and figure out based on your history and your drug use and everything. But you can get anything done you want. But you go to the doctor. Again, take responsibility for your health. They're not going to recommend you get your estrogen checked out because most men, especially, we're all men here, most men don't think, oh, hey, where are my estrogen levels? Well, we should. If you want to take care of your prostate, a lot of high estrogen actually is a link to what causes a lot of enlarged prostate. So, hey, find out where those estrogen levels are, and you might prevent prostate issues down the line.
Does anything you eat cause higher levels of estrogen?
Yes, lots of things.
Like give me a couple if you.
Back to the wonderful sugar. Sugar increases estrogen. A lot of plastic. We eat a lot of things that are in plastic. Plastics have natural plasticizers in them that can mimic estrogen. In some cases, can raise it a little bit. We also get exposed to lots of perfumes and air fresheners and things like that. Those also can increase estrogen. And in some cases, you can be doing it from lack of sleep. lack of sleep, poor diet can also increase estrogen. Stress increases estrogen.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I think a proactive approach is probably a Christian approach towards things.
Yeah.
That
what about soy?
Yeah.
So I didn't bring that up on purpose because I don't want to discourage people from soy.
Okay.
So yes, soy is a natural estrogen. It has phytoestrogens in it. And for men, I would say be careful how much you use. But actually, there's lots of research showing that good quality soy, non-genetically organic soy, actually has lots of good health benefits for women. It actually can reduce cancers and things in a lot of cases. So, but yeah, if you have high estrogen like me, I avoid soy because my body tends to produce more estrogen naturally. So, but and I'll say one thing: if you want to lower your estrogen, you say maybe that's an issue or something you deal with. Well, you can do that naturally by eating foods. Eating your broccoli and cauliflower and Brussels sprouts.
So here's a question, and this is more, I guess, is this a medical question, or what do you think about maybe aspirin a day?
I don't listen. If the doctor says to take that, I would say do what the doctor says, depending on your health issues. But I would be cautious of it because you look up aspirin, it's not meant to be taken every day for long periods of time.
Right.
If you have,
you probably shouldn't self-diagnose. Like you might say, "Oh, I hear aspirin's good a day to prevent heart," but if your doctor doesn't tell you to do that, you're probably self-diagnosing, aren't you?
Yeah, and that's common. That's kind of common sense. You just think about, hey, do I need this in my body? No. I mean, but if you had a stroke and the doctor's saying, "Hey, take an aspirin," well, do what the doctor tells you to do. Yeah. Because it will thin your blood and help keep plaque build up and causing problems. But, if you've been on that for years and years and years, maybe you need to consider, okay, maybe I need to change my diet and do something to get off that if possible.
Hey, one last question. I know we're running out of time. This has been very interesting to me.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you to come back here, but as I've gotten older, I know when I get my checkup, the doctor keeps saying, "Oh, we're going to get you on these statins soon," even though my cholesterol levels are okay. I look at the numbers, I'm still okay, but because I'm in my late 50s, he's been talking about, as you get older, most people start taking statins. And I'm like, well, look at my cholesterols are okay. Why should I take anything? So why do they push the statin drug so much for cholesterol? When you get into your 60s and things like that, is that really needed, or couldn't you just alter your diet more as you get older? To help with, I know rising cholesterol is a natural thing as you get older.
Right.
Any thoughts on that topic?
So, my theory, because I'm not a doctor, I can't say.
Yeah, right, and neither am I. We're just talking. Yeah.
But my theory is when you go to a doctor, they are held under oath to take care of your health. The Hippocratic oath. So if you go to the doctor, you're a certain age or your levels are a certain number. Well, they have liability to say, okay, well, when you walk out of this office, I have to do what I need to do to make sure that you are safe. So, let's say you go home and you have cholesterol issues or you have a stroke. You come back to the doctor and say, "Hey, doc, you didn't recommend cholesterol medication, and normally you're supposed to." So a lot of times they're doing it because it's kind of what they have to do. It's what if they want to take care of your health, and it might not even be what they want to recommend, but they don't want issues, because so based on what they're seeing, they might say, "Oh, hey, it's probably good for you to do that so we don't have issues."
I got you.
But
that's a good answer. I think
that's a good with anything, because I've been to the doctor sometimes and they said your blood pressure is a little high. And like, we're not going to put you on anything, but you need to kind of watch stuff. And then I'm like,
I've heard that too.
Right. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to do everything I can to lower it naturally because I don't want to take these medicines. And I get back and they test it. It's fine. I'm like, good. I'm just going to keep making sure I'm trying to eat the right things to keep it within line. Watch the salt, eat more potassium, stuff like that.
I mean,
so, but if you don't, but if you're like, hey, I'm just going to eat whatever I want, I guess the doctor's going to give you the drug, and you're going to have to take it to keep your blood pressure down.
But I would add, though, I mean, I personally believe we serve a God that tells us not to fear. So we have to be careful. We have to be wise and make good judgment calls, but don't do it out of fear.
Right.
Because God did give us bodies that heal themselves. You cut yourself, you do a lot of things, you have surgery. Our bodies are amazing. So if we can heal ourselves and fix a lot of things just on our own, why wouldn't we be able to change and do things naturally with food and diet and maybe even supplements. And I believe there's lots of natural options, Mike, for cholesterol affecting that. Number one, start with diet. Increase your fiber intake, increase your good healthy fats to increase your healthy cholesterol, because healthy cholesterol helps you clean out the bad cholesterol. Reduce sugar, reduce processed food, because those are going to increase inflammation and increase plaque buildup. And then if you still have any issues, well, then, okay, we'll look at other options that are more natural. So,
yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. That's a lot of good information today. A lot of very good conversation. Glad to have you join us, Jason.
Glad to be here, man. Thanks.
Yeah, and, Jason, did we get his email up on the screen, Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see. What is your email? If you want to give your email out to anyone who wants to email you.
You can. It's House, HOUSE.
Okay.
Herbs, HERB 05 @gmail.com. And the other one is you can do info @localhouseofhealth.com.
I think I got this one up here. All right, here we go. Is this correct right there? househerbs05 @gmail.com.
That's correct.
And they can contact you if they have any questions or
any significance in the number 5, or why you just put a number in there?
So remember I told you we've been here open 16 years. So 2005 is when this House of Health.
Okay. Got it. Okay. There's always something there with those numbers. Yeah. Hey, cool, man. Yeah, really interesting, Jason. Thanks for being here. I'm gonna send you a note today, give you some dates in the future we'd like you back. Maybe you can pick one, and maybe we'll get more focused on some area of health, nutrition, or the human body. Whatever you think you want to discuss, I think the people would be interested in that. We got a lot of good comments in the chat box here.
Awesome. Well, man, thanks so much for having me and give me a chance to talk. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being here. All right, we're going to say goodbye to everybody out there, and we'll see everybody next week on Prove All Things. So again, thank you for joining us.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.